So, welcome back to Questionable Logic, and on today's video I'll be discussing why Attack on Titan's ending is more or less a rip-off of Code Geass's ending. So, to start us off, basically I'm going to analyze kind of my whole perspective that I've gained in the past 2 weeks, in which I've binge-watched Code Geass, and overall my perspective from, watching and being a fan of Attack on Titan for like 2.5 years. So, before I start off, I just want to say, this isn't really a hate kind of video, it's just kind of, basically spreading to the point that, Attack on Titan's ending is just more or less, as I'll explain further in the video, a rip-off, as it is. Feel free to disagree with me after I've analyzed the video, or if you want to watch the video, just feel free to use the comment section. Okay. So, Code Geass is just kind of its own entity, if I'm going to be honest. And, it was made a few years ago, back in 2006, I believe, to 2007. And so it's kind of like a mecha show, but also based around this protagonist who has like a deep-centered past. And not to spoil too much, he gets abandoned by them for certain reasons, and he decides to join the rebellion because he feels like being, it's fun to him. So it's kind of like Death Note, if you've seen that or not. Except in the fact that, he more or less always kind of wins, whereas, Light doesn't really. So, there is that. Anyway. So, you have the whole Attack on Titan, and, I'm not going to bother explaining that one because, there's just too much out there. You can just go look it up if you haven't seen it. But, in comparison to, so I'm just going to basically analyze everything, just briefly. So, it's just completely different in the respect of that, it's robots and the Empire. It deals with, just the whole War as a whole. But then, thinking that's just what the show revolves around, kind of very wrong, because more or less in the last season, which they've only done partially on the anime, it just kind of takes more or less the same plot of the entire towards the end of season 2 of Code Geass, and after acknowledging that fact, you kind of just have to take a step back, really, and just take a deep and long look, if you haven't already, at the 2 shows. Just from, I'd say probably just after the whole Marley thing, because it's more or less set up then, but it sort of takes off after that point. So if you're going to be critically looking for which area to explore, I'd say there. So just go from there. Another thing I might note is that the protagonists could be more different, in the whole sense that one is just kind of more or less goes from being your pathetic boy to trying to take the leader board, but falls short. Whereas Code Geass, you have Leoch, and he's kind of a like Yagami type person. So he takes pleasure out of winning games that are challenging, and he likes to be at the top always. And he always finds a way to save people in the most spontaneous way. So they couldn't be more different. But again, it's not the characters who are the same, it's the plot. So if you thought, he's going to be saying the characters are the same, no, that's not what I'm getting at. I'm just critically analyzing organizing the plot, you know. So, moving on from that a little bit right there, you know, one of the things I've noticed is that, you know, after some people read the last chapter, they were kind of like straight to YouTube, you know, just bombing the fact that it was the same, and you know, I didn't quite get that until like 2 weeks ago. You know, once I started, and then like, you know, now that I finished it, and it really is just copy paste, let's be honest. So I'm thinking to myself, as a fan, you know, I kind of, you know, I don't really agree with like the complete hate, but like more or less the Marley arc to the ending, I agree, you know, hate it. I'm not, you know, telling you to just bombard him, but just, you know, it's just lazy, you know. To be honest, as a fan, you know, we expected like high quality throughout the the show, and it's just disappointing to see that, you know, he just literally, I bet, you know, he just probably watched the show and went, that's a good ending, you know, I think maybe I'll incorporate that in my own way into Attack on Titan. And, you know, that's more or less what it is. And it's not really his own way, because it's just like, he's just using Titans to kind of like diverge from that fact. But, you know, to most people it is obvious. That's why, hence the thumbnail, you know, it really is dodgy, and, you know, it's just, well, embarrassing. Let's just be honest here. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some bad ripoffs before by, you know, mangas of like their same work, but like, you know, they're justified because, you know, it's their work, so they can just, you know, do a copy paste if they feel like it, which is, you know, a lot of cases. But when it comes to like just the ripping off something just completely plot-wise, yeah, it's just bad. I mean, you know, it is no wonder why some people are hating him for like that reason. But then those people who are just, you know, hating him for the entire series, you know, they're not particularly right. So, you know, don't join them, kind of join the fact that, well, you know, he just copy-pasted the ending. So you shouldn't really support that kind of work. So I'm just going to give like a brief description of, you know, the endings. So this is kind of like, you know, a spoiler alert. So if you know, haven't read the ending or don't want to read the ending of Attack on Titan, then skip now. Same applies like for Code Geass, you know, if you haven't watched the ending in that case, because there's this kind of just anime that eventually becomes a manga. So if you hadn't read it as well, just now is the point to skip. And okay, so now we're just gonna basically go from the top. So, you know, we'll start with Code Geass. So, you know, in Code Geass' case, it all kind of just goes downhill, and it kind of just builds on the fact that after he takes down his evil father, he basically wants to become the main figure of hatred for basically everybody, so that they can get rid of all the hate, and, you know, basically by wiping him out as the symbol of hate, and then rebuild as a newfound like union / nation. And, you know, that takes its course over, you know, the entirety of season 2. You know, it kind of starts with basically, you know, memory loss, and then like figuring out how this happened, and then like from there on, it's just more or less like how to get to like from that point to the end point. And, you know, as a fan, there was some bits where it was just a bit too slow, critically, compared to like, you know, season 1, which was like really fast paced and just dove right in there. But overall, yeah, I mean, the ending was, you know, great, and, you know, after watching that, you know, just, let's see, Attack on Titan, I mean. So I'll just explain. So it's just basically like, you know, sort of the same thing, but you know, it's obviously Titans and blah blah blah. Basically, Eren Yeager becomes the symbol of hate and wants humanity for itself around, like, without that. So it's kind of just, yeah, the same thing. And, you know, if you don't believe me on that whole aspect, you know, you could just look it up anywhere on the internet. And, you know, you can watch the show for yourself if, you know, you've read the manga Attack on Titan, or if you've been spoiled, or, you know. So, yeah. And, you know, I think, to be honest, the mangaka added those extra 8 pages not to, you know, give the fans a bit of, you know, well, you know, you wanted this, so I decided to go with it, you know, because I've been trolled. Now, it's more or less to hide the fact of, you know, just how the ending was just copy-paste. I bet his producers were like, you know, this is a rip-off, you need to kind of take a step back. People will find this out. And so basically just added 8 extra pages to hide that fact, and they haven't said anything. So yeah, you know, it is just kind of stupid and a waste of time and just really a disappointment from fans, you know. So, you know, just keep an open mind when you see like a hype show and people are going crazy about it and it's the best thing ever. Whereas in reality, you know, when it goes towards, you know, the low point, which the ending was, you know, you just keep an open eye out, because, you know, there might just be something that somebody's basically copy-pasted in, you know. So, yeah, and that's why I believe it is a rip-off. You know, feel free to disagree with me in the comment section below, or if you got anything to add that I didn't quite catch, you know, add that in the comment section as well. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and hit the subscribe button. Bye bye, have a great day.